Good morning once again. I think we are a good number now. We can begin. And thank you for your patience. So welcome to our webinar. As I said, we are quite thrilled to have you join us today. My name is Rachel. For those who don't know me, I'm the sales manager at F&S Scientific, looking after the food quality and safety division. And today we'll be discuss about various food and feed testing solutions from VELP Scientifica, because I think we are all in agreement the fact that we are in an ever-changing or evolving market, and having a robust and technologically advanced testing solution is quite important. So I feel this webinar couldn't be more timely and more important. So with us, I'm honored to have with us the technical team from F&S Scientific. We also have, of course, our guest speaker, Alex Villani from VELP Scientifica. And I'm just going to share. Hello, Alex. I'm just going to share the agenda of what we've planned for today. Just allow me to share that. Hope this is visible. So those are the learning objectives for today. I'll share this later in my slides. So to start us off, I'll just give a brief introduction of our company. And then our expert speaker, who is Alex, will just guide you through the latest advancement in testing solution and illustrate some of the applications for the next 80 minutes or so. We'll also share success stories from some of our customers who've benefited from implementing these technologies. So whether you're a food manufacturer, feed manufacturer, you're into commercial testing, or you're in quality regulatory, or simply you're passionate about food safety and quality as I am, I believe this will be an invaluable resource for elevating your quality standards. We will also have a Q&A session at the end of the session. So please feel free to submit your questions anytime during the presentation. And to make this webinar as interactive and engaging as possible, we encourage you to just engage with us. So use the chat box to share your thoughts and questions as well. Once again, thank you for joining us. We are hoping that this will be quite interactive and engaging. So before we dive in, just a few details on the technicals. At any point, if you feel you're having issues with your internet, please use the chat feature. Also, I'd like to kindly note that the webinar is being recorded. So we will share the recording after the session. And we'll also share the presentation materials after the session as well. So before I begin, I'm going to take you through a brief introduction of our company, what we do. I know most of you are aware, but it's just good to, again, just go through it. Somebody please confirm if you're able to see my screen. Perfect. Thank you, Joshua. So F&S Scientific, we've been in operation for the last 40 years, supplying laboratory equipment and consumables across East Africa. We serve across 30 sectors in general, and we are divided into 6 divisions. That is the general lab equipment, clinical diagnostics, mainly for the healthcare, life science serving the research industry, food quality and safety, analytical science. This will be your manufacturing, whether you're into pharmaceuticals, petrochemicals, so forth. And lastly, we have our industrial process solutions. Our mission is to assist our customers in making tomorrow better than today. 1 minute. These are some of the brands that you represent. I'm sure you've come across some of them. So we have Metrom, we have VELP, Neogen, Dicky John, Eppendorf, Testo, Telstan, Obasina, and Elga for your water precision systems. And those are some of the testing solutions that we have. In terms of the markets that we serve, so as I said, we're actively serving several countries in the sub-Saharan Africa with our 2 offices in Kenya and Uganda. And just recently, we just opened an office in Uganda. We have carried out projects spanning in more than 10 countries. So we cover, as I said, Kenya, which is our headquarters. There's Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Malawi, Zambia, and Ethiopia as well. And how we help is, we like to say that we support our customers all the way through the process, right from choosing the right solution through to getting the most out of it. We offer consultancy and workflow solutions. We carry out installations for the equipment. We do training for the end users to make sure that they are competent to use the equipment. We also have a strong technical teams for the after-sale support. So maintenance and support is quite critical. And then all our equipment are under warranty. So the question of the day, where are we here today? I'll just leave this quote with you. You cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. To that end, each of us must work to our own improvement. And this just serves as a reminder that the journey to a better world starts with each individual. So by committing, like why we are here today, each one of you have committed to your own improvement. We want to learn, of course. And simply put, we want to learn, we want to contribute to a better world. And the journey starts today. So thank you again for joining us. So today we'll just, as I said, it's going to be quite interactive and engaging. We're here to learn, share ideas, gain knowledge on how to improve our food quality and safety with the overall goal of achieving operational efficiency. At the end of it all, most important, we'll protect and the health and safety of our consumers. And I'd like to say that we are all consumers at the end of the day. So in terms of the learning objectives, as I mentioned earlier, we will learn about the newest advancement in food and feed testing technology by VELP Scientifica. We'll also learn how VELP solution can enhance product and quality, streamline testing efficiencies, and ensure compliance with industry standards. We'll also get to discover real-world application on how VELP solutions have been successfully implemented across the globe. So this is just our team, some of the team members, as you can see. And as I conclude, thank you. I'd like to hand this over to our expert speaker, Alex Villani from VELP Scientifica. So Alex is a sales manager looking after the Middle East and Africa and some European countries. So as I said, he's going to take us through the next 80 minutes, just sharing on the advancement. And in case, as I repeat, you have any questions, feel free to drop them on the chat box. And karibuni sana. Alex, the floor is yours.
Everyone, it's a pleasure for me to be here. First of all, I want to thank F&S for organizing this training. So today we will speak about some of our products, especially for food and feed sectors, but we will go deeper, adding some information on other application that can be interest for someone of you on fertilizer and soil environmental as well. So I'm sharing the slides. So Rachel, can you confirm that you can see the slides?
Yes, Alex, we can see the slides.
Okay, perfect. So this is our daily agenda in which I introduce VELP, our company. Then we will speak about our solution for end protein. I'm referring to Gildal method, wet chemistry. Then we will speak about our elemental analyzers. they are part of dry chemistry. Then I'll inform you on some details regarding our hot solvent extractors for detecting fat in food and feed samples. Then we'll talk about crude and dietary fiber methods. And at the end, we will spend a few minutes on oxidation stability investigations. We will have some customer testimonial, and at the end, some question and answer session in order to clarify some doubts. So who is VELP? VELP is an Italian company established in 1993. It's family owned. At the moment, we are more than 90 employees, and our main headquarters is in Italy. And in last years, we built 2 new additional branches in USA and China. Of course, we have some local agency and distributors all over the world. At the moment, we have more than 300 authorized partners in over 100 countries worldwide. So these are some additional numbers in which you can see that we sold more than 850,000 instruments worldwide. VELP is a manufacturer of 2 different lines, general equipment, so heating, steering systems, homogenized dispersant systems, and also some specific products for COD, BOD analysis, which are typical in the environmental sector. Then we have an analytical instrument line, in which we have capital equipment, such as digestion and distillation units, elemental analyzers, solvent extractors, oxidation stability reactors, and fiber extractors. So today we will be focused on analytical instruments line. Starting with digestion and distillation units, we can introduce the Kildall method. So basically, Kildall method is used mainly for detecting nitrogen in food feed samples, and also for an estimation of the protein percentage in your product. So basically, the analysis starts with the sample preparation, in which we have weighting boards, catalyst tablets, acids, and we put all these components, ingredients, together with the sample into the glass tube. The glass tube is moved to the digestion system, which can be automatic or semi-automatic, and it's connected to a fumes neutralization system, our KS1000 scrubber, in order to neutralize acid fumes produced during digestion, which are really dangerous for the operator, but also for the instruments. After digesting the sample, we have the distillation phase, in which we can offer some semi-automatic and fully automatic solutions according to the level of productivity of the customer. So basically, we have some units just for distillation, and we have other units in which titration is integrated, or it's possible to connect an automatic potentiometric titrator externally. We also have, for high productivity demands, the possibility to connect an autosampler to the premium unit in order to maximize your productivity and to reach up to 24 samples positions in the autosampler. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of different applications in which it's possible to use Kildall system. I wrap up some of them in food, feed and beverage, environmental and agriculture, pharmaceutical and chemical, textile, pulp and paper and cosmetic sector, but also in academia. And I mean, we follow the international regulations and methods, AOSC, ISO, EPA, and so on, in order to give you a reference method for working. So regarding our digestion units, we have these semi-automatic and fully automatic digestion units. All of them, they can be connected to our KS1000 scrubber for neutralizing fumes, and they can fit different kind of tubes, different size of tubes, from 100 ml up to 400 ml glass tubes. Of course, it's really important covering the empty position, because in order to work with a closed system, we should cover the position that we are not using. You know, I can offer you different kind of models with different number of positions, but you can have sometimes the need to not use all of them. Maybe you have to analyze 6 samples per day instead of 8, and the full productivity of the sample of the digestion unit is 8 samples. So you should cover the 2 positions left. You can do it with our glass cap, which are displayed on the bottom. Or you can cover the empty position with a glass empty tube, with just filling the tubes with just 100 ml of distilled water, in order to minimize the thermal shock of the tubes. Why the thermal shock? Because digestion increase in the digestion process, we increase the temperature up to 40 degrees Celsius, for example, according to the method, in order to digest the sample. Normally, with our semi-automatic models, we are slower than fully automatic models, in which the aluminum heating block allows us to reach the maximum temperature faster and to decrease the time of the reaction, as you can see from the graph on the left. Which is the main difference between the semi-automatic digestion unit compared to the fully automatic digestion unit? So the first difference to be considered is the possibility to manage all the process automatically. Basically, in the semi-automatic models, we need to have an operator, an end user, which who can push down and rise up the rack from and to the thermoblock. In the fully automatic digestion unit, we can do everything automatically. Just click on start after selecting the method, and automatically the rack is pushed down into the thermoblock, and once the reaction ends, automatically the machine will rise up the rack from the thermoblock. So in this case, one of the main advantage is doesn't have the risk to burn the sample, because if you don't remember to finish the reaction and you forget the tube into the thermoblock, your sample can be burned. Of course, another good benefit to have this automatic system is to recall the method without inserting the parameters. You can also see the graph of the reaction. You can have a connection, a USB connection, and you can also print and save your reports. This is the semi-automatic line, in which we can have different models with different position. DK6 is for 6 position, DK8 for 8 position, DK20 for 20 position. So basically, all these units can work with 250 ml tubes, and with an additional rack, we can also manage 400 ml tubes. Then we have other models for different sizes of tubes, such as DK648, where 48 is the diameter of the 300 ml glass tubes, and DK1826 and 4226, which are for 100 ml glass tubes. In this case, we use these kind of instruments and size of tubes for a specific method, which is called micro Kildall. So in this case, we consider to have a sample. We take into account to have a sample with a high concentration of nitrogen. So we don't need to take a huge weight of sample, a lot of samples. We just need to consider a small amount of sample. And in this case, we can use smaller tubes. That's why we projecting these kind of instruments with the smaller tubes. Then we have the fully automatic digestion units, in which we have this new entry, so the model with 8 position, which is not available for the semi-automatic line. Then we have 12 position, 20 position, and 4226 DKL, which is for micro Kildall. So basically, also in this case as well, we can offer a big proposal in which you can fulfill your requirements. So last year we came out with a new scrubber. In this case, one of the main benefits to be mentioned, they are the possibility to use this scrubber without connection to the tap water. So we have these two tanks, which can be filled with 3.5 liters of distilled water. Then there is a bottle behind in which there is a reagent, a base, basically, in order to neutralize acids produced during digestion. We introduced the possibility to set 4 different power levels in order to regulate the power of the instrument according to the fumes produced. And we maximize the gas liquid contact surface area in order to optimize our performances. Regarding the distillation units, as I explained you just a few minutes ago, we have semi-automatic and automatic units too. And for our semi-automatic units, we can offer our entry-level solution, which is UDK 129. Then we have UDK 139, which is always a semi-automatic solution, but with more flexibility, additional features. And then we have our fully automatic solution, so UDK 149, 59, and 69, which can be connected to an external potentiometric titrator or with an integrated colorimetric titrator. Of course, VELP can offer to its customer some unique feature, such as the patented steam generator. So our generator works without pressure, and it means that it's maintenance free. So you know that whenever you have an instrument and it works with pressure, basically there is a higher risk to have problems because pressure is a risk. It's a factor of possible damages for the instrument. And for this reason, we introduced this new system without pressure. Then, of course, we have this patented titanium condenser. Titanium compared to the standard glass condenser is better in terms of resistance. So titanium is different to be broken. And of course, there is a better thermal exchange between titanium and water, which is not the same and not so good compared. I mean, it's the glass condenser cannot have the same thermal exchange compared to titanium condenser. So basically, in order to be below 35 degrees Celsius, which is the threshold value for this kind of analysis, we use patented titanium condenser. So in order to avoid some losing of nitrogen over 35 degrees Celsius, with our titanium condenser, we can be lower that temperature, avoiding to get wrong results, as can happen with glass condenser. Then we have long-lasting technopolymer splash head. So on the top of the instrument, there is a specific part which is affected by acids. So basically, we implemented this technopolymer in order to protect this specific part of the instrument, and to increase the lifetime of this part up to 10,000 analysis. So we are the only one on the market to be able to guarantee to give this kind of performance for these specific spare parts. Then, of course, our machine can calculate automatically and archive all the data, all the results. And we have the possibility to connect a VELP Hermes cloud platform in order to control and check the instrument remotely, everywhere, every time. This is really important, considering that I can mention two different aspects which are fundamental for customers. For example, checking and managing the instrument remotely, you can do maintenance remotely. So it means you can check the instruments, understand which the problem is, and then you can take the right spare parts to be replaced on site. So when you call the technician, when you have a problem with your instrument, you should call your technician. The technician should go to your company and to understand which are the right spare parts to be replaced. In this case, the technician doesn't have the solution immediately, so he should come back to his office and to take the right spare parts, and again to visit you for the second time, replacing the spare parts. And this is really unpleasant, and we try to avoid that. We try to solve the problem immediately. So thanks to this remote diagnosis, we are able to identify the spare parts immediately, and then go to you with the solution, with the right spare parts to be replaced, in order to save time and money as well. Then, of course, this cloud platform gives you the possibility to control the instrument remotely in terms of analysis as well. So you can check if something is going wrong, and you can stop the analysis or call someone in your laboratory when you are not present in the laboratory to control the machine. So VELP has this V receiver solution, which is specifically for colorimetric titration. So basically, for our premium units, UDK 159 and 69, we developed this kind of technology, this kind of solution, in order to avoid to have liquid chemicals into the laboratory. So basically, it's powder. It's a package in which there is powder. This powder is composed by boric acid and colorimetric indicators, and you can rehydrate the powder with just 1 liter of distilled water in order to build the solution, and using the solution for colorimetric titration. So this is our offer for distillation units. As I mentioned before, we have UTK 129, which is the entry-level solution. Then we have UTK 139 with some additional features such as the automatic addition of water, the automatic boric acid addition. It's not present in UTK 139, but you can find it in UTK 149. Of course, we have the distillation residual removal in UTK 139. So going forward to the premium models, you can see that the features are more. And of course, we can offer you different kind of management system. A light display, a 7-inch color touchscreen with a user management system. And I mean, according to your needs, we can offer you a solution to fulfill every kind of requirements. Of course, you can also connect an external balance in our units, in our advanced units. You can also connect a barcode scanner in order to facilitate the data entry. And the main difference between UTK 159 and 69 is the possibility with the highest version, UTK 169, to connect an external autosampler, which can be connected also in a second time. So, for example, today I buy UTK 169 because I don't have the budget for considering the buying of the autosampler. So I can buy at first UTK 169 and maybe next year the autosampler. This is really useful sometimes in order to split the expenses between different years. So we try to give to our customer more flexibility in terms of budget as well. These are the accessories in which you can see different sizes of tubes, Kildare balloon. We also have an alcoholic strength kit for performing analysis on alcoholic grade. Then we have some adapters for adapting different sizes of tubes. We also have different tanks for collecting reagents and for adding reagents automatically. Of course, these tanks are not normal tanks. They are tanks with a level sensor on the top, close to the cap, in order to send the signal to the instrument once your reagent will be almost exhausted. So you also have this kind of alert from the instrument, which is really helpful. Then we can offer wireless and USB barcode scanner. We have some additional pump if you want to manage different acids, for example, and the receiver solution for colorimetric titration, as I explained you before. So this is really interesting because in our website, we share for free application notes on different kind of samples following the international and reference methods. So basically, you can find them in the download section of each product. Just scrolling down the page, you can find each of them and download them. I reported some examples. In this case, in this slide, you can see end protein determination in meat according to the Kildare method. In all our application note, it's reporting the reference method. In this case, AOAC 981.10. And the instrument that we use for performing the analysis. So the KS20, so the automatic digestion unit with 20 position, the scrubber, KS1000, and UTK 159, which is the version with the distillation unit in which you have integrated colorimetric titration. Basically, we prepared the sample, so we did sample preparation before performing digestion. The sample preparation consisted in homogenizing the sample. So after homogenizing the sample, we use our weighting balls to transfer the sample into the glass tubes, and we add 2 catalyst tablets. So we have these catalyst tablets which are already prepared to be used during digestion. It's really helpful for you considering that you don't need to manage chemicals, to add chemicals manually. And in each of our on our box, we mention the composition of our catalyst tablets. We also suggest in our application notes which are the most suitable catalyst tablets to be used for your specific method. Then, of course, for performing digestion, we use concentrated sulfuric acid, 20 ml. We also mention the concentration, and 5 ml of hydrogen peroxide, 30%. Then, after digesting the sample, we move to the tubes to the distillation unit. We recall the method in which the parameters have already memorized. I list the parameters, so H2O dilution water 50 ml, chloric acid ice titrant solution, 70 ml of sodium oxide. Protein factor was already setted, so 6.25, and the receiver solution for performing colorimetric titration. So the distillation titration analysis time, it was roughly 4 minutes for one sample. And all the results were automatically calculated and saved into the archive. These were the results that we obtained, we got after analyzing the samples. Basically, the protein label value was 12% of protein, and we got accurate values, results, as you can see from the table on the right. So 12.22, 12.3, we got results very accurate. Just to give you another example, we can test different kind of dairy samples. So M protein determination in milk, according to the Kidal method, is performed following AOSC 991.20. I also put the ISO method just to give you a double information. We use the same configuration that we use for meat analysis. So we digest the sample using the catalyst tablets, in this case VCM catalyst tablets, sulfuric acid, and hydrogen peroxide. Then we perform distillation and titration similar to what we did for the other sample. And the distillation titration analysis time doesn't change. I mean, it's roughly 4 minutes for one test. These were the results that we got. So the protein label value was 3.25 grams on 100 ml. And we got results with a good precision and accuracy. So 3.3, 3.4, so really, really close to what declared in the label. Of course, the conversion between nitrogen percentage and protein percentage is automatically done by the machine. You don't need to calculate this kind of value. It's automatically done. Of course, you can analyze liquid and solid samples, but also semi-solid samples. In this case, we consider another product, dairy product, which is cheese. So we follow the international reference method, AOSC 991.20. This sample is an Italian goat cheese, basically, in which the protein label content is between 10 and 12%, according to the batch production. So we digest the sample after homogenizing it, and we transfer the sample into the glass tube together with 2 catalyst tablets, 12 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid in order to perform this digestion. Then we perform distillation and titration, of course, with different parameters compared to other methods according to the official instructions. And at the end, at the same time, we got the results. So in 4 minutes, you can have your results. In this case, we got results close to 10% of protein percentage according to the range that we declare at the beginning. Another sample that we can consider is cereal. So we can perform analysis on cereals in order to detect nitrogen and protein percentage. So we follow AOC method 979.09 and with the same configuration that we use for other application notes. In this case, the sample was cereals, but we distinguish between wheat and corn, because in wheat the protein expected value was 14.2 percentage, for corn 8%. So the preparation of the sample consisted in grinding the sample with a particular size of 0.5 millimeter. Then we weigh about 2 grams of sample in a nitrogen-free weighing box. This is really important to be underlined because we have these nitrogen-free weighing boats, which are totally different from the normal weighing boats. So they are declared and certified as nitrogen-free weighing boats. So there is no risk of contamination, and you can put these nitrogen-free weighing boats directly into the glass tube without any problem, because they are digested together with the sample. So you don't need to transfer the sample from the weighing boat to the tube. It's just to put the weighing boat together with the sample into the tube. This is the advantage. Of course, we perform the digestion with 2 catalyst tablets, VCM catalyst tablets, 2 antifoam tablets, yes, because we also have antifoam tablets for some samples which produce a lot of fumes and foam during digestion. And we use, again, 20 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid for the digestion. So we perform distillation and titration. We have different methods pre-installed in the machine for wet samples. Of course, according to the customer needs. In this case, we predefined methods number 8 and 9 in order to get our results. So we list the results coming from our machine, and you can see according to the protein expected value, which have been the results for wheat and corn. So I mean, we got good results, and our results were into the accepted range. We also put RSD percentage just to give you more details. So fertilizer, I mean, the digital system can cover a lot of application, fertilizer as well. In this case, we of course use another method, so AOC 892.01, in order to detect nitrate and ammonia, which are important in fertilizer industry. So we test 2 types of fertilizer with some expected value of nitrogen. We use our UDK 149. In this case, there was no need to do digestion before distillation. So we prepare the sample, and after preparing the sample, we move the sample into the distillation unit, recalling the method for nitrate and ammonia in fertilizer. And at the end, basically, we got the results thanks to the titration system. In this case, we use a manual method for doing titration, but of course, we could also choose to do as an external automatic titration, connecting a titrator, an external titrator to UDK1 and 49, instead of doing it manually. So these were the results for each fertilizer, in which, again, we respected the expected range mentioned at the beginning. Okay. In the second part of my presentation, I put elemental analyzer. Why? Because some models of elemental analyzer can cover nitrogen detection. So basically, we have three different elemental analyzer models: NDA, CN, and YIMA. The NDA and CN, they are macro elemental analyzers, so they can work with an higher sample weight, up to 1 gram, in some cases 1.5 grams, where the concentration of your element is considered quite low, so you can increase the sample weight. Then we have a micro elemental analyzer, IMA, which is for different kind of sectors, but of course you cannot use a big amount of sample, just few milligrams. So for food, feed, and environmental sector, I mainly suggest NDA and CN in order to have more possibilities in terms of sample weight. Okay. Then, of course, in some cases, fertilizer industries, for example, they can be interested in IMA as well in order to detect sulfur. So, generally speaking, I can say that NDA it's mainly for food, feed, and beverage sector, even if it can cover a lot of different application sector. CN, we consider CN more for environmental, agriculture, and also food and feed beverage sector, wherever is needed to detect carbon, nitrogen. And then we have our IMA, which is the most flexible solution, but we cannot use a huge sample weight. So in this presentation, we focus on CN and NDA models. So basically, one of the main difference between Kildall method and elemental analysis consists in the time. So you can save time with elemental analysis. So considering the total time spent analyzing your product with the Kildall method, it can take up to 6 hours. With the elemental analyzers, you can analyze your sample in order to detect nitrogen in 3 minutes, nitrogen and protein percentage in 3 minutes, which is really faster compared to a Kildall system. Of course, we are speaking about instruments which use combustion technique. So there are no chemicals. We don't need to manage chemicals. There is no risk of exposure from the operator side regarding chemicals. Then, of course, you don't need to pay attention to the expiry dates of your chemicals. You don't need to stock your chemicals, to store your chemicals in a specific environment in order to protect the environment and your operators. So this is really an advantage compared to Kildall method. Of course, in this case, you need to have gases
so argon or helium as carrier gas. We suggest argon because it's more affordable than helium, and then of course it's easy to find on the market. In order to work decreasing the cost per analysis. Then, of course, you need to have oxygen because oxygen is necessary, it's needed for combustion. Okay. Our maximum capacity for both instruments is 117 samples. So we have NATO samplers. You can add up to 4 disks into the sampler in order to reach the maximum capacity. Okay. Approximately each disk can have 30 positions. So basically, in the full configuration, 3 positions are busy from the sampler. So 117 position is the maximum number of positions available for your everyday analysis. Of course, with CN-HO2, you can also detect carbon, okay, apart from nitrogen. So carbon is good sometimes in environmental industry, for example, and with CN we can also calculate total organic carbon and inorganic carbon indirectly. So I mean, it's really good to understand also the quality of the soil in agriculture in order to understand which is the right balance of nutrients in your soil. Okay. These solutions are very flexible, so they are matrix independent and can give you accurate results following official methods. So regarding our CN-HO2, during this year we introduced a new detector in order to increase our accuracy up to 0.003 milligram of carbon. So in this workflow that you can see from the image, we underline the IR detector for carbon. Of course, IR detector is not present in NDA, which is just for nitrogen detection, but the rest of the parts of the instrument, the structure, the flow diagram, is almost the same than compared to NDA. So in our data sheet, we declare the working range for carbon and nitrogen. So for carbon is from 0.003 up to 150 milligrams as absolute carbon value. For nitrogen is 0.001 up to 200 milligrams of absolute nitrogen value. So we also did some example in order to go deeper some specific cases. So if your sample is 100% composed by carbon, the maximum weight that you can weigh is 100 milligrams. If the sample was 50% carbon, the maximum weight would be 200 milligrams. So I mean, we declare that we can reach 1 gram, 1.5 gram, but basically you don't need to reach those amount of sample. You can optimize your method to decrease drastically the amount of consumables and to save money, because of course if you increase the sample weight, you will consume more consumables. So our aim, our scope is to decrease the sample weight in order to give you the best results with a low consumption of chemicals. Sorry, of consumables, not chemicals. So regarding the sample preparation for solid, we suggest to grind the sample, to mill the sample before putting the sample into the tin foils, because in order to manage the sample, we have these tin foil caps, 2 models of tin foil caps. One of them is specifically for solid, and it's we sell it ready folded or flat in a flat shape to be folded. And of course, it's certified as nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen free. So basically, we certified our consumables. Then we also have some tinfoil caps which are deeper than the normal tinfoil caps. They can be used for specific samples, for example, also for liquid, in order to easily handle semi-solid and liquid samples. For this kind of instrument, we consider to use a 4 and 5 digits balances. Why? Because they have the right accuracy to give you the best results. If you don't use 5 or 4 digit balances, the results will be not good, not accurate. So we experienced in the past that wherever we didn't have good results, it was for the balance. So our customers, they didn't use, they weren't using an analytical balance with the right accuracy. The balance can be directly connected to our instrument. So the weight can be automatically transferred to the instrument. This is really good in order to save time and avoid some manual operations that can cause errors. So in this picture is displayed our autosampler. So basically we can just place the sample into the tinfoil cap. We can twist the tinfoil cap and move the tinfoil cap to the autosampler. So at the beginning of each day, you don't need to calibrate the instrument. This is really an advantage compared to NIR, for example. So contrary to NIR, which should be calibrated every day. So you have this instrument, you can calibrate the instrument after many months, so 4, 5 months. In order to check that the instrument is working properly, you can just burn empty 1, 2 empty tin foils and maybe a standard. So just 5, 10 minutes to condition the instrument at the beginning of the day and start working. When you burn the empty tin foil, you can reach 1800 degrees Celsius, which is called flash combustion, which is not typically the temperature which the instrument work, but it's a specific temperature that we reach with empty tin foil caps. So for liquid samples, basically we have 2 different techniques. We can use a super absorbent powder, which is a 9F powder, in order to get the sample creamy, semi-solid. This powder should be added before placing the sample. So basically, liquid sample, of course. Basically, we use this powder. We tear balance, and then we transfer the sample, liquid sample, into the tinfoil cap. After weighting the sample, we can fold the tinfoil caps and move the tinfoil caps to the autosampler. So really easy. Another technique that we can use with liquid samples, it's a specific disc for capsules. So we have these tin caps, which are beepers with 2 different dimensions. In this case, you can avoid to use super absorbent powder. And this is the procedure. So you can see that the consumable is quite different. And we are not using super absorbent powder, but directly we are transferring the sample into the tin cap. And it can be closed as well as the normal tinfoil caps. For some specific analysis in environmental specific mainly, we can offer the possibility to use a manual dosing liquid sample kit. So in this case, to increase the accuracy and to perform TOC, total organic carbon, in liquid samples, specifically in water samples, river and wastewater samples, we offer this kind of solution. So it's possible to change the normal autosampler, to replace the normal autosampler with this manual kit in order to automatically inject the sample into the combustion area. So to do it, we use an Hamilton syringe. Unscrew the screws in order to replace the autosampler. And as you can see, we connect the manual dosing liquid kit, sample kit, which is really easy and can be done from the end user without any technician. Okay. So in this case, we can increase the accuracy for carbon up to 0.004 milligram carbon. So 100 times more compared to the old NIR detector, and 10 times more than the new detector that we installed this year on the machine. So this is the flow diagram for CN802, which is quite similar to NDA. As I explained you before, there is no IR detector for NDA because in NDA we don't need to detect carbon. So the sample is purged with helium or argon. So through the combustion, through this autosampler into the combustion furnace, in which the reaction happens, the combustion happens. So the furnace is 1030 degrees Celsius, and we have a catalyst and excess of pure oxygen. And we have, I mean, our reference gases. Then we have a water trap, a Peltier cooler condense 90% of water in the sample. Then we have a reduction furnace in which there is copper, basically, in order to convert nitrogen oxide to nitrogen, carbon monoxide in CO2, and to trap some O2 molecules. In this case, the temperature is 650 degrees Celsius. Then we have a second water trap, which is a chemical water trap, in order to remove the last part of the water. Then we have our IR detector just for CN802 model in order to detect carbon. Then we have a CO2 trap. And at the end, we have TCD detector, so thermal conductivity detector, in order to detect nitrogen. All the results are automatically transferred from the detectors to the software in order to have all the graph and results displayed from the main page of the software. The consumables are combustion tube, which can be in quartz or metallic. The quartz reactor tube, combustion tube, is for one time. So you can use up to 117 samples, the same combustion reduction tube. After this amount of analysis, you should replace the reactor. For metallic reactor, has a longer lifetime, up to 3 times compared to quartz reactor. So you can perform approximately, roughly 300, more than 300 analysis, okay, 400 analysis, roughly, just with our metallic reactor without replacing the reactor. Of course, the reactor can be a pre-packed reactor, already filled with all needed for performing the reaction, or you can save money buying just the empty reactor, and filling the reactor with the ingredients, with the different components. Of course, being a combustion, we need to collect the ash which is produced by the combustion reaction. We have different kind of ash collector according to the specific application and the lifetime that the customer wants for his consumables. So in this case, for metallic and coarse, it's the same speech. So metallic is 3 times plus 3 times more than coarse. But ceramic, for example, is suggested for TOC analysis in environmental sample. So regarding reduction tubes, they can last up to 750 analysis. I explain you the function of this kind of component. So to reduce nitrogen oxide to nitrogen, convert carbon monoxide in CO2, and trap O2. Basically, it's composed by copper. It's a specific formula of copper which has been optimized to reduce the space in the tube. So the detectors that we have in CN, they are 2. In NDA, it's just nitrogen detector, TCD detector. But anyway, analyzing the 2 different detectors, we can generally say that for total carbon, we have a detection range which can be from 0.003 up to 150 milligrams of carbon absolute value if we are using tinfoil consumable. If we are using direct injection, we can drastically reduce the minimum value of the detection range up to 0.0004 milligrams carbon absolute value. With nitrogen, there is no difference in terms of accuracy according to the consumables used, but the difference is considering the type of carrier gas used. So with helium, you can be 10 times more accurate than argon, but again, for your kind of analysis, so for food, feed, and environmental analysis as well, there is no need to increase so much the accuracy. So we give this possibility to our customer, but helium it's mainly for our micro elemental analyzer, because in that case you use a small amount of samples, so you need to be more accurate. But in this case, working up to 1 gram, 1.5 gram, you don't need to use helium mandatory. Argon is enough. Of course, we have the low gas consumption, the lowest gas consumption on the market, which is in the working mode, 220 ml minutes. The instrument can work with a working mode and a standby mode. So with the working mode, the consumption of gas, of carrier gas, is this one. But if you move to the standby mode when you are not working with the instrument, the consumption will be few milliliters. So it doesn't affect your everyday cost. So it's your choice. It's up to you. Make your choice and deciding which is the right carrier gas to be used. Really fast on this point. So total carbon is composed by total organic carbon and total inorganic carbon. Total inorganic carbon is usually not so interesting for our customer because there are no hazardous compounds which are present, on the contrary, in total organic carbon. So in order to detect total organic carbon, we usually pre-acidify the sample with fluoridic acid in order to get rid of total inorganic carbon and to obtain our total organic carbon. So the pre-acidification is made by using a hot plate stirrer with a Teflon plate, some silver foils, not tin foils, because silver is more resistant to acid, for 4 hours at 170 degrees Celsius. Then the sample can be managed as well as the normal total carbon. So you can move the sample to the autosampler and analyze the sample without any specific difference, apart from the consumables, which are different in order to resist to acids. So we have silver foils for TSC, ceramic crucible. We have Le Peltier cooler in order to eliminate water and impurities as well. We have an halogen scrubber to protect the internal part of the instrument from halogen and acid vapors. This is a kit that we implemented last month in order to facilitate the configuration for this kind of application. So regarding the software, CN software is quite similar to NDA software. So basically, the only difference is the carbon absent. So in NDA, you don't have carbon graph and malus. But of course, the layout of the main page is the same. So you have the standard used, the name of your sample, the sample weight, the results, the parameters set in for your instrument, for your analysis, all in one page. So it's very easy to be managed. At first glance, you can see everything. For nitrogen and carbon, you have graph plus results. You can download it, print your results in different formats, for example, Excel, PDF, whatever you want. And it's possible to set specific accounts for specific end users, okay, supervisor, operator, and so on. We have different language available, and all kind of functions, they are according to GLP methods. It's possible to build the calibration curves thanks to our EDTA standard. So we use EDTA as standard for these two instruments because EDTA contains all the elements to be analyzed in specific percentage. Working with gases, we cannot avoid to put in our instrument the function for detecting, for analyzing the leaks. So we have this automatic leak test in which you can perform each day, every day, a full leak test in order to understand if there are leaks. If not, okay, you can start working. If so, you can perform an additional leak test on the single area in order to identify where the leaks is and to give this detail, this data to the technician that can immediately identify the right countermeasure for replacing the spare part and repair the instrument. So regarding the applications, we have food and feed industries to be considered as one of the main targets for our instrument. So basically, I can mention some samples such as meat, flour, milk, oat, rice, starch, wort, yogurt, corn, for example. So in this example, we analyze rice flour, corn gluten feed, and olive leaves in order to detect, thanks to our CN, carbon and nitrogen percentage. The sample weight was between 80 and 100 milligrams. The carrier gas was argon, and we got this result that you can see. You can see from this slide with the good SD value. Of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation of the elemental analyzers, we can also analyze in agriculture soil. We can also analyze sediment sample in order to understand, according to the new land management techniques, the carbon nitrogen ratio and the correct balance between the elements. So in this case, our machine, our CN, it's also able to give you the carbon-nitrogen ratio automatically to gather carbon percentage and nitrogen percentage. As you can see, in this case, we increase the sample weight from 100 to 300 milligrams because soil has a low quantity of nitrogen and carbon normally, nitrogen especially, compared to food samples. For fertilizer, we can propose always our CN82 for analyzing carbon, nitrogen in fertilizers, but also in soil, plant, and leaves. In some cases, wherever you find a fertilizer sample which is really difficult to be barred, because in some cases fertilizer can be difficult to be barred, we have a catalyst which is called vanadium pentoxide, which is an oxygen donor basically, and can speed up the reaction, increasing the temperature, okay, up to 1,800 degrees Celsius. Last but not least, we have application environment. We mentioned some official methods for TOC and total nitrogen. And we consider a weight in this analysis between 120 and 200 milligrams, obtaining carbon percentage, nitrogen percentage, and TOC percentage from soil, sludge, bio-waste, and waste. This is on TOC on water. So sometimes it's not just in environmental sector, but also sometimes in other kind of industries. We have to monitor TOC to understand the level of pollution in our water, our wastewater. So we can use this instrument, our CN, in order to get this kind of data. It's just to show you how much flexible is our instrument, our solution, which is not a POC analyzer, but it can also be used on this kind of samples if you need of that. In this case, for water, we can just consider POC analysis for river and lakes water and wastewater, in which there is the right ppm range for working with our instrument. So, do you have any question? If not, I'll move to the solvent extractors, which are for analyzing fat in food and feed samples. I move on. So, our solvent extractors, as well as the other instruments, can be used in different sectors. So it's another instrument really flexible. When we think about extraction of fats, immediately our mind think about Soxhlet technique, which is the oldest technique on the market. So Soxhlet, it's really a slow process, slower extraction compared to our hot solvent extraction, in which you use a higher quantity of solvent, and I mean you don't have an high solvent recovery. You can just recover a small part of the solvent used. Without solvent extraction, we have a lot of benefits, starting with a rapid extraction. So we can be 5 times faster than the normal Soxhlet. Then, of course, we can consume less solvent compared to Soxhlet, and we can recover up to 19% of the solvent used. In this case, the solvent will be pure solvent, distilled, thanks to our titanium condenser. So you can reuse that solvent, which is really good in terms of cost saving. Of course, both of them, both techniques have a huge and wide application range, repeatability, and reliability. So the main, speaking about the different analysis, we can collect the different analysis in two main groups: quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. The quantitative analysis are the analysis that we usually perform in food and feed sector. So basically, they are quantitative analysis because they are gravimetric methods in which we have to weight the sample at the beginning, weight the sample at the end of the reaction, and I mean, by the difference between the initial weight and the final weight and the conversion to percentage, we can get the fat percentage content. So in this category, we can find crude fat method and total fat method. They are the name of the methods, basically. Crude fat, it's usually without a preliminary treatment of the sample, a preliminary hydrolysis of the sample. For total fat, you need to hydrolyze the sample to free the fat molecules before the extraction. So in this case, we can offer a semi-automatic solution for hydrolyzing the sample, which is our HU6. The instrument is displayed on the bottom, in which you have 6 positions with the 6 glass crucible in order to place the sample. And you can hydrolyze the sample before the extraction. Then, of course, you can decide if go for an automatic or a semi-automatic solution for the extraction. So we have two kind of models: SIR 148, which is a semi-automatic machine, and SIR 158, which is the fully automatic machine. Both of them are offered with 2 configurations in 3 and 6 positions, according to your needs in terms of productivity. Of course, one of the main benefits of this technique is to speed up the process, to recover the solvent thanks to the titanium condenser. Have an automatic calculation of the data. So if you connect the balance directly to the instrument, you can have the direct calculation of the data. And of course, we have the possibility to connect our VELP cloud platform in order to manage and control the instrument remotely. I mean, the automatic system is really, really better than the semi-automatic system because you can also download reports. You can also have everything done by the machine without writing manually each single step of your analysis. So you can save time considering two different aspects, the analysis, but also without making reports. So you have all your reports already done by the machine. So just wrapping up the gravimetric quantitative analysis, we have total fat in which HU6 is used for the preliminary treatment of the sample for hydrolysis, and then you can choose one of the models, semi-automatic or fully automatic model. Then we have crude fat in which there is just extraction without hydrolysis. Then we have another kind of analysis, which are called qualitative analysis. Basically, they are for sample preparation before further analysis. For example, you will be not interested in that, but basically just to give you this information, it's possible to extract some components from your sample and analyze, for example, your sample with the GCMS method. It's done with sulfur in fertilizer, in oil determination in site PET, PAT. And for example, it's also possible to extract and to analyze cannabis. So regarding the solvent management system, basically we have the possibility to connect a solvent dispenser directly to the machine. This is a good point to be considered because, of course, this kind of system minimizes the exposure of the operator to the solvent. So in order to protect the user from the exposure to the solvent, we can offer this solution. We have two different adapters for dispensers. According to the dispenser that you already have in your laboratory or the dispenser that you want to buy from your distributor, we can suggest you the correct accessory. So regarding the process of automatic hot solvent extractor, so there is a specific workflow. The orange steps are the steps performed by the fully automatic machine. They are not present in the semi-automatic machine because in the semi-automatic machine we should do them manually. Okay, so I explain you. So the first step of the analysis is the immersion. So according to the image that you are watching from the presentation, basically you have the yellow part, which is the solvent. You have a hot plate on the bottom, okay? The sample in crude fat is placed into the cellulose thimble. So you can see the sample in red is placed into a cellulose thimble. The cellulose thimble is fitted by an adapter into the extraction cap, glass extraction cup, in which there is the yellow solvent. Then on the bottom we have a condenser, titanium condenser, and we have this internal flask, glass flask, in order to collect the solvent during the analysis. So basically, in the first part of the analysis, the thimble containing the sample is immersed directly into the yellow solvent. Then the temperature is increased thanks to the hot plate. So part of the solvent is collected into an internal flask, and the rest of the solvent wash the sample. Okay, there are these drops of sample. Okay, which wash the sample, and now the sample is in light red, so it's partially defected. A good part of the solvent has been already collected into the internal flask. The recovery. So we recover up to 90% of the solvent into the internal flask. Then the sample now is white, so it's totally defected. Okay, and the fat is placed into the bottom of the extraction cap in light red. Okay, so basically the last step needed to complete the analysis for our instrument is the cooling phase, in which we raise up the extraction cap from the hot plate in order to avoid possible burning of the sample of the fat. Then we can take the extraction cap, glass extraction cap out from the machine, putting our extraction cap into an oven for drying the last part of the solvent left into the fat. And at the end, we can weight again the extraction cap with the sample inside, and the weight is automatically transferred to our instrument, and so the instrument can calculate the difference between the initial weight and the final weight of the sample in order to find the fat percentage. The removing and cooling phases are not done automatically, not performed automatically by the semi-automatic system, in which to take the sample out from the solvent or into the solvent, we use the knobs, some knobs. So in the automatic system, we can automatically decrease the level of the solvent thanks to the hot plate stirrers. Okay, so the solvent boils and condense. While in the semi-automatic, let me show you, you have these kind of knobs, which are black knobs. You can see from the top of the SIR 148, and you can use them to put the sample into the boiling solvent or take the sample out from the boiling solvent. That's why we underline these two phases in orange. So in this slide, I try to list all our consumables. Of course, we have different sizes of cellulose thimbles and different materials of thimbles. Then we have different adapters for crucible or for cellulose thimbles according to the size of the consumables, because as you know, if your sample is full of fat, we can take a smaller cellulose thimbles, because you don't need to take a big amount of sample to have a significant amount of fat into the sample. On the contrary, if your sample is poor of fat, you can use the biggest size of cellulose thimbles in order to manage more sample. Then we have connectors for solvent dispensers. We have different size of glass extraction cup. We have the different gaskets, because this instrument works with solvents. So according to the solvent use, which is reported in the official method, you can choose the right gaskets to be used, and they are placed between the glass extraction cap and the machine. Then we also have some tools for managing easier the glass extraction caps and thimbles. So just to give you some information on the possible application, in this case we analyze meat, a specific type of Italian meat. We are talking about processed meat. We use the method mentioned into the slide and into the application note, and the instrument used for analyzing this kind of sample was the automatic machine SIR 158. So we prepare the sample, we cut the sample, we grind the sample, we dry the sample, and at the end we perform the extraction. And all the results were automatically calculated by the machine. So basically, in this case, being crude fat method, we didn't use a preliminary hydrolysis of the sample. And as you can see from the time, if you sum all the steps, all the time spent for each step of the analysis, you can see that the time is drastically decrease compared to Soxhlet method. So in this case, we perform this analysis in approximately 1 hour and a half. So these were the results that we got from this kind of analysis. Protein fat label value was 34 grams on 100 grams, and we got results really close to what declared in the packaging. I also reported the formula used by our machine in order to give you more clarification information on our products. For example, another application can be considered for total fat in cheese. In this case, we hydrolyze the sample because, of course, the sample should be hydrolyzed. It's full of fat. cheese. So in the official method, it's reported that hydrolysis process is needed. So without going into the details of the different regions used, but basically we prepare the sample, we hydrolyze the sample, we place the sample into the glass extraction caps. After the preparation, we dry the sample, and then we proceed after hydrolysis to do extraction. So in this case, the analysis time is longer than the previous one for two main reasons. The first one is that we hydrolyze the sample, okay, and then of course because the method expect to have a longer time compared to the other method for meat. These were the results that we got. And again, our results were really close to the fat label content declared into over the packaging. Crude fat in oatmeal. So oatmeal is another sample that you can analyze thanks to our instrument. In this case, we perform crude fat, so we didn't use hydrolysis unit. I just reported the passages for this kind of product. So the extraction procedure was almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we can consider these results coming from this analysis. So the fat label value 2.7 grams on 100 grams, and we got results 2.8, 2.9, so really close to what declared. In feed as well, we can do crude fat. So basically, in this case, we perform a test following BIPA standards. So our laboratory joined in this program. So we have an international and laboratory which give us some unknown samples. This laboratory collaborate with a lot of different laboratories. So this sample is given to the customers unknown, and we have to find the fat value and giving them the results, giving them back the results. So they compare all the results coming from different laboratories. They have their own results with the real value of fat content. And at the end, this kind of laboratory give you the correct results. So if you met the right value, and if your results were good, you will be accredited for these kind of products and methods, and you will receive a certification. So in this case, we grind the sample as sample preparation. We prepare the glass extraction caps. And we perform the extraction. In this case, it's approximately 2 hours, okay, the total analysis time, which is in any case faster than Soxhlet method. So we are comparing Soxhlet method. It's from 6-8 hours. It takes from 6-8 hours compared to Randall technique. So our hot extraction solvent system, in which we can take, as we have seen so far, from 1 hour and a half up to 2 hours and a half. So it's faster. These were the results that we got. So again, good results. So the last part of the presentation is on fiber extractor and oxidation stability reactors. So regarding fiber, as you can see, we have two types of fibers, okay? So crude fiber is the method for analyzing feed samples. So basically, we can perform different analysis on feed samples. We can perform crude fiber extraction following the Windy method. We can perform neutral and acid detergent fiber, NDF and ADF, following one source method. We can also perform acid detergent lignin, ADL, always following one source method. So basically, just for feed sample and for performing this kind of analysis, we can propose our FIVE6 semi-automatic machine extractor and FIVE Advance. Of course, they cannot be used for tertiary fiber. Okay, why? Because there is a different method for tertiary fiber. Because humans and animals in most in the most of the cases they have different kind of digestion system. So basically our stomach can be different from some animals. Maybe some of them they have more than one stomach, so the method itself cannot be the same of dietary fiber, okay, which is for human food. So basically, for the sample preparation, we suggest our coex, which is a cold extractor. So basically, we have this machine, which is displayed on the bottom, in which we digest the sample before extracting fiber, thanks to our semi-automatic and fully automatic machine. coex is for initial defecting of the sample and for a final wash. So basically, at the beginning of the reaction, you use coex if you want to do this kind of process in a semi-automatic way for the initial defecting. Then you move your sample to the extractor, fiber extractor, semi-automatic or fully automatic, and at the end you will wash the sample thanks to our coex again. So basically, we have FIVE6 and FIVE Advanced as fiber extractors. The main differences are the possibility to add all the chemicals in the automatic version automatically. So basically, the semi-automatic version, you should open the cover on the top and filling all columns, every column with the reagents, okay, manually. In the fully automatic machine, you don't need to do it. There are some boxes there are some tanks on the box into the box on the right, so you can just fill the reagents, the tank, so fill the tanks and the bottles of reagents with your reagents. And then you can call the method and start the analysis. So there is no need to add chemicals manually. There is no need to calculate the time, to put the counter for adding chemicals in order to perform each single step of the analysis. So it's really helpful, especially considering the total operator time, which is not the total time of the analysis, but the time spent by the operator working with the machine. So just to give you more details, so we compare the total operator time of FIVE Advance with the semi-automatic extractor or total operator time. You can see that with our FIVE Advance, the total operator time is 2 minutes compared to the semi-automatic extractor, in which the total operator time is 57 minutes. Why? Because each step should be managed manually and require time. With our automatic instrument, you just need to load the crucible, okay, and remove the crucible. That's all. Of course, the total time of analysis doesn't change, but your operator is not busy working the machine all the time. So for 1 hour, roughly. So the operator can do something else in the meantime that machine is working. So that's the real benefit. You can recall the method. That's another good benefit. With the fully automatic machine, you can connect the instrument remotely to our cloud platform that I explained you before. So different features to be considered. So this is our proposal. COEX for initial defecting and final washing, FIVE Advanced Real 6 position for semi-automatic extraction, FIVE Advanced just 6 position model for automatic extraction. These are the consumables. So basically, the console for this kind of analysis, they are reagents, of course, that you can buy from your local distributor, from an F&S. And then we have the glass crucible. They are composed by glass and a filter, which is on the bottom of this kind of consumable. The most common used is P2 glass crucible with a size of the filter between 40 and 100 micron. And basically, each of them can last up to 20, 30 analysis. Of course, you can try to extend the life of these kind of consumables, but I don't suggest it because sometimes the size of the glass can be changed, can be affected by the thermal shock. And so if you continue using this kind of consumable after the lifetime declared, you can break the glass or you can damage the filter. So, I mean, we give you some recommendation. You are free to follow those recommendations. But of course, take into account all information that we deliver to you. So data refiber. So regarding data refiber determination, basically we have different instruments involved in this method, which is totally different from crude fiber. So in this case, it's longer as method. So with crude fiber, you can take for the whole process 4 hours. Okay. In this case, it's 2 days because there is no an official method to perform this kind of analysis automatically. You can do it in a semi-automatic way. Basically, this is the official method, which is AOAC 985.29, in which you can see all the phases that you should perform for getting your results. So from the sample preparation, which our COEX is involved, which is the same instrument that we use for crude fiber for the preparation of the sample in crude fiber. So we perform sample preparation with COEX, then we perform enzymatic digestion with our GD instrument. Then we have the filtration of the sample thanks to our filtration machine CSF6. Then you should perform protein determination. And again, we can offer, in this case as well, our Kindle systems. And at the end, you should determine the hash. Okay. For this step, we don't have oven or the right instrument to determine hash, but you can buy it from your local distributor. Okay. So we mentioned Kindle system for nitrogen detection and nitrate and other kind of analysis. We mentioned elemental analyzers for carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, and TOC analysis. So for a lot of different analysis, but especially on nitrogen and carbon. Solvent extractor for fat analysis. Fiber extractor for crude fiber and data refiber. And at the end, we speak about oxidation stability reactor. So this is our oxy test for estimating shelf life, for calculating, for estimating the freshness of your food samples or feed samples. And this is an alternative to other techniques available on the market. It's quite faster compared to other techniques. For analyzing our products, your samples, our samples, we use oxygen in order to oxidize your sample. And thanks to the stability against oxidation over time, we can detect and estimate some parameters such as shelf life. So basically, in order to perform this analysis, your sample should have fat, okay? A content of fat at least of 5%, okay? Over than 5%. So basically, the instrument is composed by two chambers, titanium chambers, in which there are these this kind of supports. So basically, you have disc which are placed into the chamber. The sample, if solid, it's grinded, okay, and it's placed into the disc. You can close hermetically, screw the screws each chamber and connect to the valve that you can see from the image. From the valve, you can connect oxygen tank. So you don't need to have a big quantity of oxygen, just a few milliliters for performing this analysis. So we follow an international method, which is AOCS International Standard Procedure, CD 1216. So this is really important to have an international standard procedure to work properly. So basically, targets for our instrument are quality control and R&D laboratories. So you can do repeatability tests. So you can perform tests on your sample. You can get your standard value, which would be correct, okay, for your type of sample, and you can compare all the samples that you receive every day in order to understand how far is the value that you get from your standard value, okay, in order to understand accuracy and repeatability. Then we can perform freshness tests, so we can analyze different samples, okay, different lots of samples, incoming material, for example, and compare the results in order to understand which is the fresher products, because you got your standard value, and you can compare the standard value with all the values got from other incoming raw materials. So you have a thermal comparison. Then it's possible to optimize your formula. So sometimes companies have to introduce antioxidant in order to understand which is the best antioxidant and the most stable formula. We can test different type of products treated with different antioxidant and understand which is the best one between them. Packaging comparison, we can put two different sample in two different, the same sample in two different packaging, okay, for 1 month, and then we can test our samples, understanding how the packaging has affected the shelf life of our products. Then we can monitor the product oxidation and define interval times and to build an experimental curve. And at the end, we can predict, we can estimate the shelf life. So just to give you more details on our software. So basically, this is the graph that you can get from our machine. So on the left, you can see pressure, on the bottom time, on the right temperature. So basically, we put our sample into the chambers. We applied pressure, okay? We put pressure of oxygen into the chambers. So basically at the beginning, we can, let's say that the pressure is 6 bar, okay? And for example, we can set a temperature, can set 90 degrees Celsius, okay? So basically at the beginning, the pressure is constant, okay? So because the sample is not oxidated, we are purging oxygen into the chamber. There is a point from which the sample start to be oxidated. So basically, from the green line, we can see that the curve starts decreasing because the sample is getting rancid. Okay, the sample start to be oxidated and losing its physical properties. And I mean, we can generally say that the longer the induction period, which is the induction period is determined by the green line. Okay, the longer is the induction period, the higher is the stability against oxidation over time. So basically, if we take more time to reach that line, that green value, okay, induction period, our shelf life would be longer. Okay. And we can do this kind of study in terms of comparison, okay, and to optimize formula and all the application that I mentioned before. So this is an example on how our instrument works. So I reported an application note in which we did an introduction of the specific aim of the analysis. We tested two different meat treated with different the same meat treated with different antioxidants. So two different formulas because the antioxidants were different. So the fat label value was 30 grams on 100 grams of meat. So it means that we could use our product because the content of fat was over than 5%. Okay, that was because I put the fat label value in order to give you this data on the fat content and to understand that we can analyze this sample because the fat content is enough. The sample preparation was done storing the sample with at temperature. So we grind the meat. Okay, we put just 10 grams of homogenized sample directly in the disc. We put the disc in which there was the sample into the titanium chambers, and we close the titanium chambers. So basically, we oxidized the samples and we understood which was the best formula between our products. In this case, we get the longer induction period after 7 hours and 53 minutes. So we can generally say that F2 was better than F1, sorry, was better than F2 because we had a longer induction period compared to F2. So just to wrap up all the main benefits of our technique, there is no need of a sample preparation. There are other instruments on the market which are based on different parameters to detect shelf life, but basically they need to have a complicated sample preparation to use chemicals. We don't need to use chemicals. We don't need to do difficult sample preparation. It's just to grind the sample or homogenize the sample and the sample into the titanium chambers. So, I mean, it's really, really faster and easier compared to other technique. Okay. Then, of course, it's a quite resistant instrument. We are speaking about an instrument in which the chambers are in titanium, so there is no risk to break them. And it's a flexible solution for R&D and quality labs. The last information on our smart lab Hermes Cloud platform. So basically, all our instruments can be connected to these instruments. All our can be connected to this cloud platform. Basically, cloud platform, it's really helpful for maintenance and for having access to all information in a real time. So it's a good advantage that no one can offer apart from VELP. Our team can help you from different point of view. We can perform thanks to our distributor, which have been trained on our products in Italy. They spent 1 week in Italy working with our instruments to give you the best support as best as possible. Of course, they join to additional training every year in order to maintain their knowledge constant and always updated. We also have an application department for helping you remotely, okay, in the method to optimize your method, and we can release a calibration certification, and we are available always by mail, by phone. We have a team for taking care of all these aspects. Okay. Thank you. If there are some questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex, for sharing such an insightful presentation with us today. I believe I speak for everybody here when I say that we've all gained something valuable from your presentation. So we'll have a Q&A, as I mentioned, beginning of this webinar. So right now, because time is not on our side, we'd like to go to the next agenda, which is the customer testimonials. So we are quite fortunate to have some of our valued customers here who are going to share their stories or their insights and experiences and how our products have actually impacted their organization. So the first person, I'd like to welcome Elizabeth Wangare from Unga Limited. She's going to share how our solutions have benefited her from a lab analyst perspective, and two, how the solutions have benefited the organization at large. So, Elizabeth, kindly proceed. So I'm giving you just 5 minutes to just share your story, and then we'll move on to the next customer testimonial.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth.
So my name is Elizabeth Wangare. I'm from Unga Limited. I'm a lab analyst, so I'm a direct user of the VELP Scientifica machines. The machines that we currently use are the oil, the solvent extractor, the protein machine, and the fiber machine. Most of our machines are semi-automatic. So far, this is the 5th year since we bought the machines. I've used them for like 2 years, and before using them, because I also used the old machines before we shifted to the new automatic machines. I can say that we've been able to save time. So we were able to fit our sampling and our analysis protocol so that we can fit them into our analysis TAT, which is turnaround time. And we were able to reduce our turnaround time from what we had to less than 30 hours. Right now we can do 24 hours because with the VELP, most of the VELP machines, we can run samples 2 times. So that helped us to also reduce on our TAT, and also in terms of accuracy, we have a Z-scope target of 1, which we've been able to achieve with the machines because they help us in compliance with the standards. Most of them are standards. Most of them are recognized by international standards. So we are able to meet the accuracy level in terms of doing our reports, in terms of even doing our repeatability, to be able to do our controls that we can be able to do, because again, it has capacity to run many samples. I would also talk about the support we've had from F&S and also VELP at large. When I talk about support, I talk about trainings, I talk about consultancy. If there's an issue with the equipment, I remember a while back we had questions about the fiber equipment, and they took us through the training. And I remember during the training, we all learned something new that we didn't know. So you always come up and you learn something new. We were able to be trained, and every time there's always a solution that they offer us with the machine that has been able to make them work as well as we want, fit our needs as the customer. And the reliability of getting the spares, the services, that has also come through for us as a lab. This has helped us maintain our targets for TAT and accuracy the same. The machines are also very efficient. We've been able to run with them, and for 5 years, I can say that they are still new. I can see Rachel is back, so I'll stop from there.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We appreciate the continued business support, and we hope to continue working with you on the same. So as I said, we have another customer testimonial from Bureau Veritas. So I'd like to welcome Alice Wangare, who is going to just share with us some unique perspective from the perspective of our commercial testing on how our offerings have made a difference in their operations. So Alice, please proceed.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Alice.
Okay, thank you, Rachel, for this opportunity. And first of all, I want to thank the F&S for the training and for the information. Currently, we are using the nitrogen protein machine, the semi-automated. And as far it's around 7 months down the line since we started using it, and I can testify that it's a good machine. And in terms of efficiency, we can confirm that it's quite effective and fast, especially now for the commercial lab like this one, where we have samples and customers. In terms of TAT, at least we can testify that we are managing the TAT. And also in terms of the efficiency, we can say the results, we can confirm with the QC charts and the QC samples we are running, that is, we can confirm we are doing well. In terms of maintenance and response from the F&S team, whenever we have had challenge, they are quick to respond. We have interacted some few times with Peter, the engineer, and I think Mr. Tony also, through the video call and also through the site visit. So far we have managed well, and we hope to interact more and do business more with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice, again, for the continued business support. And thank you for taking your time today to share your testimonial with us. So as you've heard from the horse's mouth, we're saying that today, I think it's upon us, all of us, to just take the knowledge and the tools to see how this can greatly impact our organizations directly or indirectly. So because of time, we are now moving into a very interesting session, which is the questions and answers. So I'd like to give this opportunity to my colleague, Tony, who will just oversee or moderate this session. I've seen that some of you have already posted on the chat, so maybe there are a few questions, Alex, to you on the same, but I'll leave this opportunity to Tony to just guide us through the next Q&A session. Karibu, Tony.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Rachel. And also thank you, Alex, for the nice presentation that you have just made. So on the side of the Q&A session, we already have questions which have already been posted. And also for the others who are yet to ask any question, this is the time you can just ask questions which are relating to the topics which have just been presented. So, Alex, the first question which has been asked, this comes from Jen Givenji, and it is basically, she says that noodle has a moisture content of 3%. Should they evaporate moisture of the noodle sample before they perform hot solvent extraction? So, over to you, Alex.
So, first of all, thanks for your question. I can share with you the official method, because if I'm not mistaken, we also have an official method on our website for noodles. Of course, in the process itself, so when you use our solvent extractor during the increase of the temperature thanks to our hot plate stir range, the machine, there is an evaporation of the solvent, okay, which is automatically done by the machine. You don't need to pre-treat the sample in addition before the extraction, apart from some specific situation in which the content of fat is really big. So, for example, if you have more than 10% of fat in your sample, you can also consider to hydrolyze the sample at the beginning. Also, even if it's not scheduled, expected, and reported in the official method, you can do it for easily analyzing your sample and into free fat molecules. Of course, I don't remember exactly the application note on noodles, but I can share with you the application note, so we can go deeper in the details and giving you an estimation of the time of this specific application. But there is no need to pre-treat, to evaporate moisture more than needed, which is already done by the machine.
Okay, thank you, Alex, for that. So the next question is that it is also from Jen Givinji. So she asks, can they test refined oil oxidation stability using the oxy test? Over to you, Alex.
Yeah, you can test refined oil with our oxidation stability reactor in the same way. So, basically, our oxidation stability reactor works with the liquid and solid samples, semi-solid and solid samples. So even considering edible or refined oil, you can use both of them as sample without any preliminary treatment. So especially oil, oil doesn't need to have any kind of pretreatment before analyzing it with our machine.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I can see, John, you've raised your hand. You can just pass the mic over to you. John? As John prepares, in case anybody else has any question, you can just raise up your hand and we'll just pass the mic over to you.
And also to just point out, it doesn't have to be a question. You can share your comments, your feedback. We'll greatly appreciate.
Yeah, as also you'll be preparing for the questions, we'll be having opinion polls which will pop up, and you can just take that opportunity to fill it out. And after you fill it out, we will also give out the details, because we'll be issuing participation certificates at the end of this session.
I can see we have Mr. Stephen Kuyeli from Malawi Bureau of Standards. I know this is an ambush. Would you like to just make a comment, either on the presentation or your experience with the VELP equipment? Mr. Kuyeli, still there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome.
Yes. Actually, this is exactly what I feared, that you'd ambush me. I see the other colleagues, they had to prepare for them to give their testimony about the equipment. But anyway, all in all, I would say the coming in of, for us, we are using UDK 169, and it has worked magic for us. I know why Racha wanted me to speak about it. We are coming from the ash. We had the old system where it could take us forever to meet our what we call service charter targets. But with the UDK 169, within 2 hours or so, we're able to meet our customer expectation in terms of protein and nitrogen analysis. Yeah, and the support has been very good from F&S. They are always forthcoming every time we need their technical support, whether remotely or physically being with us. So yes, I can attest to the fact that this is a very good machine and a very good equipment that everybody would want to have in a lab. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kuyeli. We appreciate your continued business support again, and we're happy to serve you. So I'll just give this another 2 minutes in case anybody has a question or a comment. Feel free to share with us. As I said, let's make this quite interactive. We're just about to wind up. So another just 2 minutes for anybody who wants to share. Feel free. Okay, I can see we are all quiet. I hope we all learned something. So we are honored today. Let me just check if he's joined us today for the closing remarks. We are honored to have our CEO, Dr. Rushat Shah. Sorry, I've seen that somebody's trying to speak. Oh,
Yeah.
So Rushat is going to
Hi,
give us closing remarks. So Rushat, the floor is yours.
thank you, Rachel. Yeah, so good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, I see there's a big turnout today, so that's fantastic. I see what you've had more than 70 attendees today, so that's fantastic. So just by way of quick introduction, yes, my name is Rishabh. Currently here with the team at F&S Scientific, so with the likes of Rachel and Tony, and of course our partner, whom we're privileged to have here as well, Alex from VELP. So I think this is just on behalf of F&S, on behalf of VELP. I think the purpose of these sort of webinars is really to impart knowledge, to discuss, to challenge the information that we know, because even for us, it's a learning curve. As much as we may have valuable technology information, at the end of the day, remember, the equipment is only as good as the customers who use it. So for those of you who are already using some of these VELP equipment, I hope you're having, and I'm pleased to hear Dr. Stephen mentioned that he's having a good experience so far in Malawi. But I think for us, it's most important that we connect the dots right from the technology through to the customer and to see how we can serve you best. And I think these forums bring that together. At the same time, to all the audience and participants on this panel, yeah, it's a learning opportunity, and we hope that whatever it is, you take something back from today. And of course, our team is always at hand to provide you with more information, whatever it may be, to further assist you. Maybe just to say from a quality perspective, so as you all know, VELP, it's an Italian company and very much prides themselves on quality and superb equipment. We have equipment that is being used for several years now, which just goes to show that it's also very, very robust. But when we talk of quality, I think we're now in the economy and in the African continent, we're now at a stage where we really need to up our game. And I do appreciate to see all of you here. That first goes to show that the mindset and the people are there to embrace that we need to really think about quality, because it doesn't matter how good the solutions are, but if the people are not there to embrace it, we'll never be able to provide you these solutions. So again, I thank you very much for making the time to be here. I think all we want to say is that in our own interest, we are all consumers at the end of the day of food. The animals, and anyone else in our value chains are consuming food as well, be it animal feeds or anything like that. So, quality is becoming ever more important. I think there are more and more diseases, there are more and more illnesses, there are more and more issues that are rising day by day. And it's upon us to really embed quality into the culture, to embed quality into the systems, and then therefore deploying the right technology solutions to help us achieve those sort of quality goals. So I think with that, all I just wanted to say was, once again, thank you very much for all of you making the time to be here. I hope it was useful. And we do hope to continue interacting with you both virtually and physically. I believe on behalf of Rachel, Tony, and the team, this is one of many webinars that we'll be conducting, not only with VELP, but also with some of our other partners as well. So yeah, please do stay tuned and do reach out to us if you have any other questions that may not have been answered on today's forum. But thank you very much once again. Asante sana.
Thank you, Rishabh, for those closing remarks. So as I mentioned earlier, a recording of this webinar will be shared to you together with the presentation slides. So kindly please keep up an eye on your inbox for the follow-up materials. So we had shared like a feedback survey on this poll. So we appreciate your feedback to help us improve probably for the next sessions. So kindly feel free to just share your feedback on the same. We'll be sharing a link where you'll fill in your email address, because we will be issuing certificates of attendance. So on the feedback, please put in your official names, your company organization, and then we will be able to share this on soft copies. So once again, thank you so much for your participation. We hope we found this session informative and engaging. And have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you for our next event. Goodbye.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.